Sloss and Humphries on the road.
Muggins and Cream, Cream and Muggins, straight thuggin', living the dream.
That's our intro.
Fucking Muggles.
Tickling the clit inside your head that makes you laugh. They said it can't be done.
Do you reckon there's cunts out there that microdose ecstasy? 'Cause you know people microdose acids and people microdose
He's called Michael
mushrooms.
McCabe.
Yeah.
Why do you think the Greeters Guild is so happy? Why is he so positive and full of compliments?
You reckon? No, but
Man is microdosing pills. This is a good rumour to spread, but probably plausible.
Yeah, but also, do you know a lot of people say that they're much happier, like microdosing, and they're more productive.
Yeah.
And stuff. You know, there's a lot of people who try to sell you on things they do. It's like meditation and stuff. Oh, meditation's great.
Do this. Wim Hof breathing.
Microdosing's the same. Yeah, Wim Hof.
Wim Hof breathing, cold showers.
Yeah, I got into ice baths a while ago.
Yeah,
I got into the breathing on Wim Hof because people are like, you get a natural high off it. I'm like, well, I mean, you just flood your body.
Like NOS. It's like NOS balloons. You do balloons without balloons, you take cut. I still, the one thing I kept from that, I occasionally do the breathing.
Not
Occasionally.
me, I always breathe.
That's a coward's move, that. That's a coward's move. That's something
You got to
good.
become mindful of the breathing. That's what they say. Become mindful of the breathing. But then when you become mindful of the breathing, sometimes I worry, like, am I breathing wrong?
Yeah.
Because they go, do you know, like when they go, okay, so we're going to breathe for 4, hold for 4, whatever. And then you're doing it with the guided person. And then I do it always off time. So I'm like, I missed it. He goes, like, expel now. So then it's all stressful because I'm like trying to fit in with the timings of the breathing.
Same with meditation. All the time I'm meditating, all I'm thinking, God, I bet I look stupid. God, I'm bad at this. I'm a really bad meditator.
You know
like,
what?
this isn't relaxing.
The thoughts I have to let go of is like, you've still got fucking laundry to do and you're sat here doing nothing. And I'm like, go away that thought. And he was like, but I'm right though. I'm sure you've got stuff to do. And you're sat there doing nothing. You're like, okay, these are the thoughts you're meant to witness and let fly.
Yeah.
Do you reckon your wife comes in when you're doing this and just looks at you sitting down there with your eyes closed, heavy breathing, and just thinks you're a fucking loser? I bet she's there right now, isn't she? Just staring at you, twisting that wedding ring on her finger, desperate to take it off. Oh, good, she's not.
Yeah, we had a Ukrainian lass living in our house for a bit, and I was doing the Wim Hof breathing exercises, and she fucking come home from college and just walked in, and I was out of breath on the couch. What
have you been doing?
It's tiring.
She's thinking if there's ever war in Scotland, this guy's fucked.
It's fucked.
Well, he's out of breath on the couch, so it just looks like he's been doing something awful and run away. So she's just going through her drawers, being like, "Oh God, what pants did he snap? What's he done?"
Heavy breathing into my pants. So now I've just realised, now that I'm being mindful of not clenching my braces because it looks like I'm on pills, what we mentioned earlier. Now I've found myself, when you guys are talking, putting my lips over my teeth not to clench them. So now I've replaced the clench with use a chatter.
Yeah, each activity makes me more believe in the pills at each thing you do. But you were saying you had a Ukrainian refugee.
Yeah.
How was that process?
How is it processed? Really badly.
Of like how does that person get to you? Because a friend of mine also.
So we put our house up like in like the February or something when it all started kicking off, and we found out that like people are going to be displaced, and we want a 4-bedroom house there, and only two of them, like one of them's being used for a bedroom, one of them's a spare bedroom, and the other two are offices, Natalie's office and my office. So we've got a 4-bedroom house, and we're like, if we don't put our house forward, who the fuck is?
Yeah.
Who's looking after these people if not us? So we'll put a house forward.
The Tory government. So.
No.
Did you guys see that video where this guy goes around the streets being like, when there's like, refugees, welcome, you got to bring them in. And this guy goes around and be like, would you take a refugee in your house? And he goes, oh, my house is too small, I actually can. And he goes, okay, would you take a refugee in? And they go, no, I think that's the good. So there's all these people and you can't find a single person to say yes. But you never know like who you're going to get. It's a lottery, because my friend also took one. And it's hilarious because, so they see in the news all these little old Ukrainian women with the thing. I've lost everything, whatever. And they go, oh, we must help. So they put their house up, and like the hottest Ukrainian like shows up. Like, I mean, the hottest.
There was loads of broken marriages because of this. There's so many broken marriages where the husband ran off with a refugee.
And it was so funny. He goes, how's it coming? He goes, listen, let me show you her, because I can't show it on my own Instagram in case my wife sees it. And she's like an artist, painter, just cool, you know, cool, hot. And her, my friend's wife had just given birth. So she was just kind of going through that, you know, oh, my body's not back where I want it to be. Just a little bit of kind of like low self-esteem. So they're thinking they're taking in this like really disadvantaged person. There's like fucking Ukrainian supermodel shows.
Because it's a fucking roll of the dice as well. Like we had, life was set to easy for us. We had somebody that was doing photography course, and then now all of a sudden they're doing that course in Scotland instead of Kiev, right? So they just got on with their life and stepped in, but they didn't have anyone on the front line. So you could have somebody that's coming in and their brother's just died and their dad's still at war and they've got PTSD. Like you don't know. Like we absolutely had it easy in that respect, that we didn't have to deal with her trauma. She was just very much just like a student that was borrowing a house for 6 months.
Yeah. I think there is a really...
It felt more like facilitating a gap year than taking in...
Yeah, than taking in a
war veteran.
Yeah. It's funny because I obviously there's so much like PTSD for people. I was thinking about going to go to Ukraine to do a couple of gigs. So I was talking to this promoter, and
I think they've had enough bombing.
Yes. God, that was my opening line.
I wanted to take the roof off, but it was already gone.
Yeah. But you know that with this really weird, like they have 3 comedy clubs running apparently, and you know, 3 comedy clubs running, and they're running on generators. But you know why a lot of people go to comedy? Because the clubs are in like basement bunkers.
Yeah.
So it's actually safer for you to go to comedy than to stay home. Now imagine just going and be like, happy to be here, and people are like, I am just here so like my house doesn't get missiled out.
There's just dust falling from the ceiling.
on the other side of things, I think if there was like a war in this country or in America, the last people you would want to survive is just the people who go to comedy clubs. That's not who we want to repopulate the planet with.
I thought that would be a great movie if there's like a great movie idea would be, so like some comedians are doing some night, and then like some audience members stay behind, and they ended up doing like a lock-in, and then the sun comes and the world's been sort of like destroyed. So the only people that have now to like fight these aliens are like 4 comedians in an open spot.
And a small audience.
and like a very small audience and 1 bar staff member that just happens.
It was one of the audience members is one of the hecklers who just enjoying the show.
So they've developed all these dynamics, you know what I mean? Like
every time they've got like get a generator working to get electricity back to the city, they're just looking at the sound tech.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the tech. This is your thing, right?
So they're all getting guns out to fight the aliens. The open spots, like, all right, give me a gun, and they're all like, you got to earn it. Start with a wood one.
A spud gun.
Aye.
I just realised spud gun. Does that make any sense?
No.
Portuguese potato gun. Like a,
oh yeah.
When you just plug it into the potato and.
Oh yeah, I think
gun.
I've seen videos of this. No,
Yeah.
we didn't have. We don't
You
have.
didn't have spud guns in Portugal.
No.
Fucking hell! How did you pretend murder each other as children?
Well, we did plenty of murdering back in the day, so you know. we always found like my friend who was was telling me this story about this refugee promoter, right? The refugee promoter. This Ukrainian promoter.
Hey, they're great people. You'll love them. This one sings, this one dances, this one can juggle.
A refugee promoter. As soon as they get off the boat, it's like, I'm putting on a gig, guys. No, so this Ukrainian, like, she had some people that were obviously close to her that died in the war. So I made this joke that was like really about it was against Russia, but because I said the line just be like ironically, you know, I love Russia, you know, because they're listening. She took that I love Russia and like emailed my agent, emailed me, passed it around, and I'm like, and I tried to explain. I was like, she messaged me, and I'm like, you're a comic as well, like the context of the joke is against Russia, but she goes, but you said I love Russia, and I'm like, yeah, but if you listen to and the joke's 20 seconds, if you listen to the joke, you'll know it's not about. But
she's so triggered because of what she's been through, because of
So I even took the video down. I took the video down because I was like, listen, you know, I want to hopefully work with you in the future, and I don't want to like create any more like tension unnecessarily.
And Putin does have some good ideas. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Did you hear about when the Killers were playing fucking Georgia? I think it was, not the state, the country. And like every day they bring somebody on to like do the drums or like play bass or sing along with them. and they brought on a Russian guy, and Georgia was obviously like, "Hey, no." And the killers were like, hey, we're all brothers and sisters in this. And like everyone fucking left. I'm like, it's not the time to promote Russian people. Unless it's...
Yeah, you know, my girlfriend is Russian and...
what did I just say?
Yeah.
What did I just fucking say?
I'm actually just promoting love, guys.
Again, I'm not for that on this podcast.
And she wasn't allowed in the UK to come and visit me for the Fringe.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, she's a
And
Nazi.
maybe it's also because she's unemployed and it's like looking for a new place to live.
Works for the Kremlin.
Yeah.
Yeah, how confident are you she's got no ties to the KGB? Like, is the sex aggressive enough where you're like, hold on, that's a bit... This rope is tight. This
This is a professional knot. She goes, oh, let's try this like cool thing. It's like really sexy. And I'm like, what is it? So I put it back over your head and then there's some water.
When are we going to get married?
Well, there was like, she hates this, right? But I'm like, I worry that her father might be a mobster.
100%. He's Russian.
Yeah, but not only is he Russian, but one day I asked her, like, oh, what does your dad do? And she was like, he works in construction. And I'm like, oh, that's
fucking right.
This could only get worse if you said waste management.
Yeah, waste management.
God, I wonder why he likes being taught beside tall drops and cement mixers. He's just got a love of buildings.
And then I was like, what does he build? And she goes, don't worry about it. Oh, no.
Yeah. Only worse if she went, forget about it.
Yeah, I know. But she lives in Europe, and I'm like, oh yeah, me and all my brothers all studied in Europe. You know, there was a period where we had to leave Russia, and I'm like, why? We don't talk about that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then one day before she came to Australia with me, so right before she came, I flew out earlier. She came early. Apparently her father said, oh, why don't you bring this boy you're dating to the house in Valencia so we can meet him? And I'm like,
I'll
hey.
take him out on international waters on my boat.
Yeah.
You're in too deep here, son. Did you go?
No, I was already in Australia, thank God.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I just can't make it.
So you still haven't met the parents yet?
No, and I don't need to, honestly. Her father.
Ask some oligarch seal of approval.
Yeah, exactly. Like, dude, can you imagine you saying like, you know, your daughter, right? Like, you work in construction. You come from this, like, you know, you build your business through the fall of like the USSR, right? You send your kids to study in Europe, and then your daughter comes and he goes, dating a stand-up comedian.
And you
from Portugal.
You want to hope he goes onto Instagram and sees that reel and also takes it out of context.
Yeah.
Everyone taking it at face value.
He's like, this guy said, I hate Russia. I love Russia. Sorry, I'm not listening to the rest of the joke.
Yeah, exactly.
How long have you been with her?
I've been with her for a year.
Oh, I mean, it's getting...
Yeah.
It's getting
but
close.
he doesn't speak English. So it's interesting. Like, her mother speaks a bit of Spanish. She speaks like the same... quality of Spanish as I speak, but her father does not speak either Spanish or English. So I feel like the whole meal would just be him looking at me like deep in my soul.
Yeah, trying to just pick up your vibes. Just pick up your energy because he can't even understand a word. He's just trying to figure out through.
And then just at the end of the dinner, all he says is like Wim Hof. You must, like just.
I think you'll have to power play him. Just slap him from the fucking get go. I think they respect that.
Yeah.
Would they?
Yeah, maybe. I think give it a go. There's only one way to find out. But like, I think, yeah. From what I've heard,
they like a Callum Toots and give him a little fucking.
I bet he's bald.
Just absolutely.
He's bald.
100% he's bald.
He's Alexei, and his name's Alexei.
Slap him like
Spit shine his head.
A little bit of physical humor because he doesn't get the language.
Hey, grab his cheeks. Grab his cheeks. Give him a good shrug.
Get a balloon, rub it off like some fabric and stuff. Be like, look what this does to your hair. It's just not working. That's weird.
And then at the end of the day, I'm just sort of like in bed with my girlfriend, be like, first day, how do you think it went? And he goes, you slept my father. And I'm like, and we got 3 more days of this. And I'm like, if you're ready, like tomorrow I'm punching his ass.
No, I think he wakes up, he's the world's worst mobster. He wakes up, he's like, that guy fucking slapped my head. I'm going to have to hurt him. I'm going to kill his girlfriend. Bang. Oh no. Oh, my dog.
Because he goes, I want you to suffer. But if I kill you, you do not know suffering. so I kill my own daughter.
Yeah.
So you suffer. And I'm like,
And obviously now
He's been 4D chess, this guy. The Russians
this
are
guy's
good at
made of
chess.
steel.
and he's going to kill you, and you're like, but surely you have to avenge the guy that killed your daughter. And he's like, that's an excellent point. Oh no.
Now it looks like I did it. Now you're framed
And then
for double homicide.
Yeah, exactly. All of a sudden, anyone shows up. I'm the only person alive, and be like, "This is a huge misunderstanding, guys."
Yeah, let me explain.
If I was a Russian oligarch and I wanted to commit suicide because I had depression, I would try my best to shoot myself twice in the back of the head.
Double tap. Double
Just
tap
quickly as I
yourself.
can do that. And Putin's like, I swear to fucking God. I swear to fucking God.
Yeah.
This time it's legit. He had depression. He told me he was going to do it. I know this is what I always do. I know they always fall out of buildings and stuff. But I swear to fucking God, I did not do this one.
Yeah,
He goes, but
he drank he drank the Novichok himself.
I fucking,
He downed it.
I don't know where he got
He
it.
said, but his last words were bottoms up.
And they're like, "Oh, this is suspicious because you've never acknowledged depression as a real disease." Honestly, I've come around,
You know,
and this
my
guy,
best
he had
friend
it.
just killed himself.
Yeah.
I'm really sad this time.
Yeah, he had such big depression that like his airplane fell out of the sky. You know,
God.
he goes, "Take me now."
I have such, and I shouldn't say this, I have such respect for Vladimir Putin now for just straight ball into camera being like such a tragedy. Like,
Happens all the time, this.
Motherfucker, come on. At least wink at cat. We all know. Even your trusted supporters are like, we know you did it and we think it's cool. Nobody loses if you just go, like, come on.
Is he still just
100%. He's like, these things happen all the time. You're like, yeah, because you
it happened
do
to
them, motherfucker.
Leah, Kobe,
Yeah.
the guy whose name I can't pronounce from Leicester
passenger plane
City.
that you also definitely shot down all those years ago.
Just all they had depression, all of them depressed.
Yeah.
But have you ever seen that video where he's like with his cabinet and he's like saying something and then he goes, "And so what do you think?" And like the head of the KGB is there and he goes, "Well," he kind of like slightly disagrees. So there's this like pause in the room. You could see all the other like cohorts be like, "Ooh, I can't believe you did that!" Like they're like, "Oh snap!" And he goes, and Putin goes, "So that's what you think, huh?" And he goes, "Well,
I'm open-minded.
yeah, I'm not closed on any thought." And he goes, "Okay." And you could just see the way that he like looked and asked was enough for him to say, "I'll shut up now. Otherwise, my whole family."
He should have fucking slapped him across the head. Giving him fucking nookie special.
Yeah, fucking
You just got a power
shut up,
people.
Putin.
Aye.
I'm hoping that if I do meet my girlfriend's father, I end up having a story like The Machine.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, what's even the point? You know, if you're gonna date a Russian and not that like get a story that makes your career, so you never have to write.
So
anything.
funny if he's just like super camp.
Yeah.
He's just like really calm.
He's like the Russian from Eurovision
He's just,
movie.
like, really kind and empathetic.
He's like Alan Carr but Russian.
And he just has a little cry because you're both so happy together. And he's like, I really just.
And he goes like,
daughter.
my father has a nickname in Russian, and then they'll tell you like in Russian, and he goes, "Wow, that sounds scary. What is it?" "Chatty man."
Chatty man.
Yeah, go
Chatty comrade.
I have a question for you, which you can feel free to ask me to edit out. But I heard the other night at the So You Think You're Funny party, you walked up to Steve Bennett from Chortle and went, "Who the fuck's this guy?"
Oh my God, how do you know this? But I didn't know who this guy was.
It's all over Chortle. It's front page.
Really?
The fucking gall if Bennett did that. Is it true?
Yeah, but because I didn't know who he was.
Oh,
He
he's
was
a
talking
piece
to
of-
somebody, and I'm like, "Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Andre." He goes, "Oh, I'm Steve," and I'm like, "Cool. So, what brings you here?" Just casual conversation. He goes, "Are you a comedian?" He goes, "No, I'm a reviewer. I was at your show 3 days ago," and I was like, "Did you like it?" And he goes, "You'll have to wait to find out." And I'm like,
What
I
a
don't.
fucking cunt, man. Like, Jesus. Just... What? First of all, why is he at the So You Think You're Funny
He's
party?
you ask him if you like your show. Don't. Oh, you'll have to wait and find out.
Why
mate.
don't you subscribe to my Patreon, sneak
Fucking
peek?
clickbait me. Fucking get out of here.
I
Throw
gave
him
you a
out.
free ticket, you bag of shit.
But I really didn't know who he was because I never So I never ask to know when people are in the audience, and then secondly, like when I leave my show, I like shake everybody's hands. But I don't know necessarily who they are. They
You would have known. You would have known his weak ass, pathetic handshake. You would have just felt a shiver, like someone had walked over your grave when you shook his limp little hand. He's like, it doesn't have any bones in it. What your hand is this flesh lump, a fucking handful.
Oh my god, I've never seen you. I've only met you 5 times, but I've never seen you as passionate about something as I just.
Man, like we first of all, we fucking hate reviewers anyway. But Steve Bennett is the wormiest of fucking worms.
He's
right?
the ex-comic reviewer.
Yeah.
He tried stand-up, but didn't figure it out. He couldn't figure it out, so acts like he figured it out with a pen.
He only has power over his perceived power over like open spots and stuff. The second you become like an actual legitimate comedian, he shrivels up and cowers away for anyone that doesn't like sort of fear him. Like, he was at Just for Laugh fucking years ago, and at a time when I did not have the money to do what I did, I was at a table with like 20 fucking comedians, and he was there, and I was so angry that he was there. Because I'm like, this isn't for you, man. You don't get to be here. Right? This is comics sitting around a fucking table. Absolutely fuck off. I don't say that to him. But I go around the bar, I get an entire fucking round at the Just for Laugh bar for 20 comedians and make sure I look him in the eyes and don't ask him what he wants to fucking drink. Like, make them, like, he is.
It's so bad because he gave me event of the year in 2016, and then in 2020 gave me second. It was second best for event of the decade, right? And I still hate him because he took the wind out of my sails when I was brand new. I was a brand new comic, and he talked shit about us on the internet when I'm brand new and trying to make it work. And then when I'm fucking running something that's actually got the whole fucking world's attention, then he jumps on board and goes, "This is good." And I'm like, "Where the fuck were you when I needed you? Get out of here!"
I'm kind of scared, right? Because I don't know about the review. I don't know if it's come out or yet. So I've not read one review of me the whole time.
Well, you're lucky because we've got it right here.
Yeah, bring it up, Matthew. How are you psychologically 2 days from the end of the festival? Are you fragile?
Yeah. So I need to like sit down when I get out of here and maybe read them or not, right? So, but they tell me it's like,
here's the rule: if you do read reviews, and this is for somebody who, like, for the first fucking 4 years of my career, fucking all the good reviews meant nothing, and all the bad ones fucking stung.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember who it was that told me, and it's very hard to do. If you take the bad reviews seriously, you have to take the good reviews seriously, regardless of where they're from. Even if it's just like a fucking 5-star on the Fringe website from an audience member. If you're taking a fucking comedy journalist, and I can't say that within a fucking stank on its opinion seriously.
Yeah.
Remember, this is just a fucking nerd, right, who got the lowest of art forms to fucking review, right? Nobody cares about their taste in music. Nobody cares about their taste in film.
Food.
Nobody cares about their taast in food. Nobody cares. So they go to the lowest fucking thing in the world.
Where
like,
a bunch of egos will definitely read it, and you'll get clicks on your website.
Yeah.
With the pathetic,
Because we're so fragile and
the
pathetic.
pathetic narcissists, they're like, this is the people I will have some sort of perceived
power.
domain over.
Yeah. It's funny. I was asking my agent about it. I was like, "Why is this blog so big?" And because like it's not like, you know, you travel all over the world. You know,
Steve Bennett once fucked a comedian and gave her a
Event of
3-star.
the year, 2016.
He gave her a 3-star review.
Oh my God, that's brutal.
Which means by fucking Steve Bennett, you can get 2 extra stars.
Oh yeah, I know who it was.
I'll not mention her name. I'll not mention her name on camera. But stinky poo poo.
Oh my God, can you? Oh, I would love to be like a fly on the wall for that call after.
Oh yeah,
You know?
No, did he call you back, motherfucker? He left me a 3-star review.
He loves me.
He left me a letter, and he goes, "Hey, can I? If I lick your asshole, will you give me another star?"
Yeah, brown one.
Oh my God.
Have you seen Elliot's being the only comedian that's been getting 4-star reviews that read like a 3?
Yes.
You know how sometimes you get a 3 and you get loads of pull quotes, but the stars on the poster look shit because they're 3.
Yeah.
Elliot's deals with getting so many 4-star reviews, but none of them read well. They can use the stars, but none of the words.
Oh really?
Jack Whitehall, I think in like his 2nd or 3rd Fringe.
Oh, here we go again. The beef of the century.
Got a review that said 5-star show, and it was a 4-star review.
It got what? Five? It actually said five. It actually said 5-star
One of the
show.
quotes was that this is a 5-star show, and he put it on all his posters, being like, "What the fuck is this?"
That's
man?"
really funny. 5-star show, 4 stars.
Oh no!
See, I can be nice about Jack. I like Jack.
Yeah. There's a comedian got 0 stars, and he put the 5 empty shells of the stars on his poster.
Genius.
Yeah, so good.
Have you ever seen that thing? With that movie with Legends with Tom Hardy.
Yes,
Have you ever seen that? He's got like 2 stars from The Guardian, but they put it like behind his head or something, or in
Put
between.
it between and with the stars on the side, so it looks like it's just running across.
And I'm like, genius.
Man, I think even the guy that gave them his 2-star review wrote an article where he was like, you know what, fucking fair play. That's legitimately good. I can't complain about that. I love what Vittorio Angelone did this year. I saw a show the other day. It was fucking excellent. On his poster, Brian Logan, who's the fucking Guardian reviewer, who hates any comedy that is not done by a woman. Right? It's just once it's done by if it's not a young woman, it's not 4 stars.
Really?
Oh yeah.
He came to my show and he didn't publish a review. So I guess.
Oh well, in that case, that's very unlike him, and I've got respect for him for that. I think that's a good thing to do. Like, for my problem with reviewers is, man, you can print your 4 and 5-star ones. If it's anything less than that, just don't fucking print it. What are you doing? It's not selling shows. You're not helping anyone. It's just you being like, wah. Like there's no positive gain from it.
You're just filling the paper space.
So if he does that, fucking fair play to him. I'll not kick his head in as hard the next time I fucking see him. He's a piece of shit. Vittorio's review, I don't know how many stars it was, but just the one thing Vittorio's put on his poster, it just says gay Brian Logan.
Really? That's the only full quote.
So So I think Vittorio clearly did a joke about gay people or something like that, and he references that material, but he's just like, he said gay.
No, I asked him about it the other day, and I was like, how did you get this? And he goes, oh, there's just one moment, and he mentions in the review that I say, theater plays are gay.
Yeah.
And I was like, and it's just used that.
Just took the word gay. That's so good.
Very, very funny.
Yeah.
Man, he did that. We played comedians versus critics football like fucking 7 or 8 years ago.
And as you can imagine, they're not very good at football.
No. And as you can imagine, the comedians were not very good at football. And it was, to be fair, it was a lot of the sort of sounder reviewers, because like a lot of the reviewers didn't have the courage to play, because obviously it would just be comedians going through.
Tommy Holgate was a reviewer then. He was class.
Bruce Desau played a bit, and Bruce is another one where he doesn't print bad reviews a lot of the time.
He's a nice bloke, isn't he?
Kai scored a hat trick, and Fest magazine, who had like previously given him
a 2-star on my first ever show.
They gave him a 2-star review, but then they also talked about the comedians versus critic games, and one of the quotes was Kai Humphries put the critics to the sword.
It was comedian star player Kai Humphries put the critics to the sword.
but just in a football analysis, and Kai was like, pull quote on the poster.
I mean, people are like, I was like, well, comedians, when they goes, they took this out of context, but like, we do that shit a lot,
Yeah.
All of our jokes are like, here is something that is, my wife and his wife fucking hate this podcast, because they're like, the way we tell stories is just so it sounds like we win, which we do all the time.
The amount of corrections I get when I get home. It's not even published yet. She'll be like, why did you say that? It was that. I'm like, oh, entertainment. Totally insubstantial. It didn't steer the story away from its conclusion at all.
No, exactly.
It doesn't matter if it was a Tuesday.
Is this your first full run at the Fringe?
Yeah, this is my first full run.
Have you been drinking?
Only just started.
So
first 2 weeks, I was just kind of gym, very healthy.
How old are you?
28. 29 in a week.
Okay.
So I was just like very healthy, whatever, and like good reviews were coming in. So I was like, okay, I'm in the game.
Bit of momentum.
Yeah. I had the momentum.
Got off to a good start.
I could feel the buzz, you know. There's a lot of 5 stars coming. Like, whatever, it's good. So then 2.5 weeks in or whatever, or whenever time it comes, my agent set me down and was like, listen, the nomination isn't coming. And then from that point on, I was like, well, I guess I could start drinking. And then there was like 3 days where I kind of hit the wall and I didn't want to perform the show. And she goes, oh, but this is not the time to let up because there's all these producers, whatever, blah, blah. And I'm kind of like, you don't like expect that there's something. Like, I came with the Fringe with 0 expectations, but when it starts going well,
it's hard not to build your hopes up. That's
you build your hopes up a little bit, and then when it took me a few days. Yeah. Only in the last couple of nights have I been like had good shows again, because I'm like, I don't give a fuck anymore.
Well, man, the Fringe isn't really like it's a career. It can be a career maker in the sense that, like, look, if you go to it every year and you build an audience, you will build an audience and you will get bigger every year as long as the show's good. You know, you just build. Even before I was doing fucking heaps of telly, I would come back to the Fringe every year. But you've got to fucking commit to it, and that's what you can get out of it. I don't think like a career has been made.
Nah, because you know what, like opportunity comes. Like the time when Australia with Mary Tobin, like she come to my last show, the Fringe. Like so, you think the Fringe is done, and then someone comes to see you, and then you've got like 3 months of next year's diaries full or whatever.
Yeah.
But anybody who's like in that industry that are looking for someone to write a sitcom or whatever, like
Yeah.
I don't want any. Like every time I've had interactions with those people, they go like, "I've had an idea. You come up with an idea." And you're like, all right, so I need to just write and do everything for you. See, unless you're sat on a sitcom idea or something, a lot of this industry attention's pointless.
Yeah.
Unless you've got something to give them when they want it.
I do have it. Like, I have a script.
Yeah.
That I'm, like, ready for it to go. But I don't put much on it. Like,
Oh, they'll beat that out of you.
my big goal was to just get some good stars.
Aye.
So that I don't need to come back. And if I do, it's a choice rather than, like, a necessity.
The good part of it, like the reason I'll keep coming back every time is because I wanna have a new hour and I wanna fucking altitude train by doing it every single day, and then it's fucking class by the end of the run, and you've got a new hour. That's the one part of like not doing it this year that I missed out on, is like I'd be finishing this month with a solid hour in my back pocket.
So you start with the work in progress?
Start previews in June, July.
Yeah.
There's a real, and it's a stupid fucking snobbery, but you've got it, and it's a very Scottish attitude, which is
anybody who starts now.
Any comedian who starts preparing their Fringe show before June,
if you start your new show,
fucking grow up.
Look
Look at you taking the job seriously. You fucking loser.
Before the summer solstice, you wrote a joke.
Oh, Jesus, man, we are homework on the bus kids.
Yeah.
That is what comedians are. If you are not panic writing your show, if you're that far fucking planning ahead, you ain't a real comic.
You're not writing jokes with no pressure.
No, how dare you?
Casually.
How dare you take this job so professionally
getting up,
that I
grabbing
look
your
like
coffee.
yeah? Because all of our
Writing a
English,
joke.
all of our English friends, all of them, they start previewing in January. A lot of them, so many of the English comedians, they'll come up and they'll do a 45-minute show one year, and that's so that they don't qualify for best newcomer.
I did that
So
last
they can,
year.
yeah, you fucking sneaky
Yeah.
little.
That's when you're saying this is
I
your
did
first
it.
Fringe. You're talking shit.
Well, no, I came
Take
for
5
10
minutes?
days.
Oh, got you.
I came for 10 days to do 45 minutes. And then, well, yeah, I mean, I'm everything you hate because I went to Australia to work out the show.
Yeah.
Because in Australia...
By the way, it's not that we hate. We hate what it makes us look and feel like. Whenever we see comedians working much harder than us,
We
it's
know
the
we're
same-
doing it wrong.
Oh, yeah. But also, like, it's my first hour show.
Yeah.
I think by number 2, I'll be like, I'm on your camp, you know? I'm like second band, you know?
I did my first Fringe show. I did take it I definitely took it seriously. Like, I remember I had this fucking like white paper roll that you could like stick to the wall.
Yeah.
And I wrote all of my jokes up there, and I would fucking sit in front of it like Rain Man. Is like, well, that joke goes there, that joke goes there, and I'd fucking type all out. But I was doing this 2 weeks before the Fringe.
Yeah.
Like, so I was doing.
I feel like doing your jokes in January is like being the guy that gets up in the hotel and puts your towel down on the lounger
Yes.
before breakfast. You're like, fuck off, man. You're cheating the system.
Well, mind you say this. We are always the fucking first through the gates for getting Fringe registration and then posters and everything. Like,
Oh, yeah,
our agent sees deadlines the other way around. She doesn't see like, oh, the deadline, the last day you can do this is this day. She sees it as the day it fucking opens is when you're ready to go. Like, like Edinburgh Fringe goes, we're now opening applications for the Fringe, and she's the first one in there being like, I want this venue, I want this time, here's the fucking artwork, here's this, here's that.
I'll tell
Oh,
you-
wow.
I'll
So
tell
she's
you-
like on the ball.
I'll tell you
so much.
the trouble with her being that on the ball and us being homework on the bus is that it's a fucking stroke of luck if the poster and the title and the blurb matches the show.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because she's like, in January, she's like, what's the show called and what's it about? And you're like, motherfucker, I have 10 minutes. What are you talking about? Like, at the moment, it's all about masturbating. So that, I guess, and then you'd fucking do a poll.
So I don't.
and then you'd go like, currently it's called the masturbator. That might change, but if you have to submit now, that's what we're going with.
Yeah, and then something happens in like fucking May. Something happens to you. You do the fucking bull run or whatever.
The Bull Run show, that could have been such a good, like, I could have sold that show and I could have had a title and everything, right?
Yeah.
So in whatever February, Marlena asks us for a photo, so I do a photo shoot, right? In the middle of all these just usual photos, I just strip off pants around my ankles, grab a disco ball out the corner and dry hump it, right? So I'm humping a disco ball, and just so that when she's flicking through the poster, she's like, and then moves on. It was only ever meant to be an Easter egg. She fucking loved this this photo, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, what should we call it? And I was like, this was the show that I was going to make about being on the council estate, which ended up being last year's show. I called it Shameless.
Yeah,
Because
I
like
remember. I saw your show. Yeah, I saw that show.
You saw Shameless in 2014 with both.
No, not that one. But you
The council estate one, Mischief.
Yeah, Mischief.
So that was last year's show, but that's I was kind of going to be writing about that sort of stuff for that show, and then I ended up nearly dying and like got these amazing photographs of us being trampled by bulls in Pamplona. Right?
Oh, he showed me this the other night because I've done that too. I've done the run.
It's fucking. So you know Estafeta. Dead
Yeah,
Man's
you did.
Curve.
You did. You went before Dead Man's Corner.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And the whole show ended up being circled around that. So like the last 15 minutes was the bull run story, and every joke that was in it was a callback to stuff that I'd put in previously.
Yeah.
Right? Like things that like when my life's flashing in front of us and stuff. It's all calling back. But it was called Shameless. I was dry humping a disco ball on the poster. The fuck? That could have been I could have used one of the photos from the bull run. I could have fucking had like, some title that was like to do with it.
Yeah, so sometimes like leaving it till the end would be way better, because the thing, like, I've heard so many stories of people being like, I had nothing, and then like 3 weeks ago this happened, and that became the thing.
Yeah.
And then you go, but I'm already committed to this masturbator theme, so I gotta.
Man, there are some times it would get to like June or like mid-July, and you'd just be looking at your show going, fucking, I need a death in the family here. I need to like get into a fucking car crash.
Yeah, that's something. Every time that every time a year goes by and I don't get on the nomination list or whatever, I'm just like, but you know what? I've got all my relatives. I haven't been diagnosed with anything. My wife's still alive.
I was going for a prostate exam 2 weeks before the Fringe, being like, maybe this is the year.
Yeah.
Come on, cancer story. Come on.
Yeah, I
give it to
remember
me.
when I was young, I was in I went to theater school for 1 year. It was supposed to be 3 years. It was all of high school, but I hated it so much. I didn't belong because these people take acting so seriously that I'm like, come on, man, you don't need to take it that seriously. And he goes, if you don't take it this seriously,
it's never going to happen for you.
It's never going to happen for you, whatever. And I'm just like cracking jokes the whole time. And what would happen is like we'd have these classes where they'd go around and ask you for like the most traumatic stories, you know? So they'd go around the class and like all these, you know, these people start telling all these stories, and it gets to, and I'm like, in my whole time, I'm like,
I've had a
God,
lovely
what
life.
do I have? Like,
My
what do
life's
I
been
have? I said, my father did beat me up that one time, you know? So I'm like, okay, I'll tell that story. I'll like pepper in, you know, pepper in like a couple more slaps, whatever. And like two people before me, there's girls like, I got raped, molested. I'm like, oh, no one's gonna care about my father slapping me now. You know?
Even though
I'm like, you're the headliner. How can I follow this? You know?
You start making up.
Kevin Hart dropped in.
And then like the everyone's like sobbing. Everyone's sobbing. The teacher's like, that's so brave. Thank you for telling us that this will be very good in preparation for Hamlet. And I'm like, and he goes, Andre, you know, well, what about your story? And I was like, one time I called my dad a monkey, and he slapped me a couple times.
Handful of shit.
Started masturbating and shitting himself.
I remember like
He swung down from his tree.
and I did say to her after like the class, I'm like, you should have said at the end of the thing, because your story was you ruined it for the rest of us. You know that, right? Because she got cast immediately for like the main role, and I'm stuck doing fucking tree.
Who's this fucking Adjecast? Britain's Got Talent? Like, just who's got the biggest sob story gets
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, have you ever seen a comic like know what the routine is that you've got to have your 45-minute sub story, but they don't quite have one? So it's like I don't mind throwing Tom Horton under the bus. He had his 45-minute lull when his parents caught him drink driving. And he'd like, it felt like there was a life change, and he went puppy eyed and all that, and that was the moment when, and you're like, oh, you fucked up drink driving, man. Like,
yeah, like drink driving. Oh, that's just like on Tuesday in Portugal, you know, like the drink limit is more of a suggestion rather than a rule.
Is it? Because like Scotland's the opposite. Scotland is super strict. Like if I were to drive after like a really fucking heavy night out where I went to bed at 3 or 4 in the morning, I wouldn't be allowed to drive until like fucking 12 or 1 p.m.
Oh,
like,
really? No.
Yeah. If there's any in your system, it's fucking done. Whereas LA, like we will get picked up by friends who are like, woo, we're going to another bar. And you're like, another bar? Like you drove here to pick me up from another bar? Oh.
Remember the Fringe, sorry, after we had a signed show, so the girl doing sign language, it was her first time doing a stand-up show, and she was like 3,000 people. I was starting to get like contact nerves for her, because I was like, I've got such a thick Geordie accent, and I talk so fast when I'm let it go. So I was like trying to like pace it so that she could keep up. And at the end, I just poured myself the stiffest whiskey, like a quadruple whiskey, and I just went back and just fucking sank out watching him at the back of the room, and Natalie just looked over and went, "You're driving?" I was like, oh fuck. And I had to stay in Edinburgh for about 7 hours so I could drive home.
Oh shit. Like, do you like, so this is like a big thing that you guys take seriously, because I feel like back
I won't drink drive.
Portugal, Spain, whatever, people that's starting to change, but people would have this thing with it, like I always like to call it like they have their legal limit and then they have like their own personal limit. You know what I mean? Where they know where they're like, I can't. So the guy will have like 10 beers and then they'll get 11th and he goes, can't do it. Gotta drive. You know?
There's no point though at the end of that quadruple whiskey did I think, ooh, this is me next Edinburgh show sorted. Right.
This will be my 45.
Yeah, lull buster. Let's have a little break now and come back in after a drink.
I mean, thank you for going to get water, but water's not what I wanted.
What did you say?
I didn't say it.
I'll use the mic, shall I?
I didn't say it. I didn't request anything. But like, I know there's people out there that think water is the ultimate hangover cure, and I'm like, yeah. And in the same way that if you're starving, bread's nice, but like, it's not like a.
So we're bringing. Is he complaining that I'm bringing him water?
I'm trying my best not to. I'm grateful you bought me a drink. I was just.
What do you want? A little bit of juice in it?
Maybe.
That's my own brew or something.
Something like that.
So were you thinking there like surprises with something nice? No, I had no idea. I just thought you wanted some fluid.
Aye.
You should know us better.
Yeah, well,
you've got to be really specific with me.
Well, this is why we're not married, and I'm glad. You don't show any initiative.
What would Cara have brought you?
Fuck all.
Shouldn't have come back.
Should have gone in there, got distracted by a fucking cat.
Can't believe I went and got you a drink.
When you guys get into that conversation, I always feel like I'm like that girl, you know, when you decide to have a threesome, but like the couple's like doing something and you just there and be like, so are we doing it? Or like, I don't know.
And ironically, you just go and start getting waters because you want to be busy.
Yeah, exactly.
Just end up being the water boy in an orgy.
Yeah, you gotta be that guy, you know? You're gonna be because if it's your first time at an orgy, right? Yeah. And you don't know the etiquette, you're like, so when do I jump in, guys? Like, do I wait for an opening or?
My first time in an orgy, I was just like, I was like a fucking wrestler from the 90s in a tag team match. Just throw myself in, being like, come on.
Tag me in. And then just off the top ropes. Just flew in off the top of the... I made it one where I was trying to give my mate a bit of space because he couldn't get a hard on, so I just went and made a playlist on Spotify.
I had one once that was like, it was not... So it was me I hooked up with a girl, and me, my flatmate, and my friend went out to a night in London. It was my friend's last night. So I'm hooking up with a girl that's Turkish, and then he's hooking up with a girl that's English. Then she keeps drinking. At one point, she just throws up on him, right? So like he's out of the game. Luckily, he had his bag, so he switched up. So right before I'm getting into the taxi with this girl to go back to her place, my friend goes, "Hey, it's my last night. Think I could jump in?" And I sort of looked at the girl and she goes, "Well, the more the merrier." And as soon as she said that,
you started calling more and more people in. Hey, you girl.
My flatmate literally went, "Room for one more?" And then she goes, "All right." So the next thing you know, we're all in this cab, right? I thought I was about to go hook up with this girl. Like then all my friends are there and we're like, I don't know how this just happened.
I'd say those are bad friends. I'd be raging. If I'm about to take a girl home for some one-on-one sex and you're like, "Can I jump in?" I'm like, "Motherfucker, no!" Right? Just because you dropped your hamburger doesn't mean you get my fucking Happy Meal. Like
it's such a like the girl asks to come back and you get the heads up and you go yes, and then was it a girl the first one like on the taxi? Room for one more.
No. So it was me.
So it was going to be you and two girls.
No, it's me and the one girl because my friend had lost his girl who had thrown up and she was like wobbling in the corner. So a group of 3 girls came out.
Yeah.
And so there was 3 of us.
Yeah.
And then 2 of them stayed behind. And then I'm getting in the taxi, like opening the door, and my friend goes, "Man, it's my last night here." You know, and you go like, "Oh, he's one of my close friends."
got, like,
so
his
I asked, and she like immediately was like, "Yeah, the more the merrier." And then when my family was like, "Well, in that case, can I do a spot?"
Take 5. I'm not doing any new stuff.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Good for her. But if that was me, if I was bringing a girl back and then you two fucking jumped in, there'd be time all the way through that. I would be making really angry eye contact, being like,
I'd actually be reading the messages.
I cannot believe it.
I would be reading the messages in the group WhatsApp where you're slacking us off for doing it.
It's the least like glamorous orgy as well, because the whole time we're in the cab, I was like, I hope the cab driver doesn't ask how we know each other.
Oh, and asked to join in at this rate.
Yeah. So we get to, man, I'll tell you this story. So we get to her house. It's this tiny little apartment in Camden. She goes, "Go to the room at the bottom." And then there's
4 other guys in there.
There's three dudes. She bring us three cans of Stella, you know.
Puts the football on.
Takes you down to the man cave.
She's got a wee crash for her shags.
Puts on the neon bar light.
And then she's like looking for something. Clearly, she's going around in drawers, and we're sort of like, "Hey, what are you looking for?"
Fourth controller for FIFA.
She goes, "I'm looking for this big pink dildo."
What this needs is more. There's not any holes left. You're gonna put it in your ear.
And I'm like, "Listen, I don't want to seem cocky, but I think between the 3 of us, we got this covered. You know, unless you've got 2 vaginas, we're pretty airtight here."
You're like picking something. Is this it? No, I said the pink one.
Not Sebastian.
So eventually she goes, "All right." Shuts down the light, right? We sort of it's all very dark. We sort of move. She's, starts like, we start having sex. God, I hope my girlfriend doesn't listen to this podcast.
I hope her dad does.
Yeah, can you get this in Russia?
Well, maybe he's be like, there's a real man's man, you know? Maybe he'll finally respect me. So I'm with her on one end, and then on the other end is my friend. And my friend and I were like, he goes, "Thank you so much." We started speaking Portuguese, and he just like, "English, please."
I mean, that is,
and I'm like, that's very rude of us to, there's someone who doesn't speak the language in the room, right? So we're doing it, right? At this point, we're like,
she's like, "My ears up there," and you're like, "Yeah, that's me thighs, sorry." I'll move my thighs out.
And she goes, and at one point, we completely forgot that was like, my flatmate was even there, because we just heard this whisper. It's all dark. You can't see anything. We just heard this whisper in the dark going, "Hey, guys, when is it my turn?"
Shut up, George.
and she goes, "Oh, okay." And she kind of moves on. And then I said, "All right, guys, like, I'm ready to come." And he goes, No, don't come, because if you come, we won't come, because she likes you. and if you do it, you'll ruin for the rest of us. And I'm like, I've taken you as far as I can. At this point, as every man for himself.
You're on your own, guys.
I thought you were going to be like, if you come, I'll come. It's like sneezing, yawning. Yawning. You don't sneeze when somebody else sneezes.
So I do it, and she's like, "All right, we're done." And he goes, "Oh, you fucking motherfucker." And he goes, "Listen, it was either this or nothing for you. You should be grateful." And then she goes at the end, she's like, so she turns to me. She wants to give me a kiss on the mouth after like the whole time having like my friend's dick in her mouth. And I'm like, "Oh, no, it's okay." She goes, "I'd like to see you again." And they're there, and she goes, I'm really sorry, but like, I'd like to see him one-on-one. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I
come as a 3.
This is a one-time thing for me.
I'm like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, baby.
And she goes, "What, really? God, because I fucked your friends because I thought you'd like me more."
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think
Yeah, I like you. I like
I
you
think
more.
you're a team player.
Yeah,
you know,
cool. I think
you're
you're definitely the coolest chick I've met this year.
yeah, for sure.
I like you more, but I'm falling less in love with you.
Yeah. You know, the key to the man's heart is their stomach. It's not blowing all their friends. So at this point, she keeps going into this other room next door. And this room we were in, by the way.
Still looking for the pink dildo.
She's like, oh, yeah, you're not going to see me again? Well, luckily I got my friend. And so the room we're in is like a mess. There's no bed. It's like a mattress on the floor, clothes everywhere. And we're just kind of standing there. And she keeps going into this other room. And I sneak into I look at the room and like, it's the most tidy room you've ever seen. All pink. Perfect. It's got a little heart balloon at the end of the bed, and I'm like, oh, that's a really nice room. Whose room is that? She goes, it's my room. And I'm like, so whose room are we in now? And she goes, you remember my friend who threw up on your friend?
Oh, no.
And she goes, yeah,
Yeah,
this is her room. She goes, your friend's like wobbling the streets of Camden, and you're getting like 3 dudes into her room. And I'm like,
I think that's good planning on her. I'm not fucking all 3 of you on my bed.
They couldn't have just vomited all over herself. Probably going to be fine with the...
She'll blame herself. I've seen you guys try to piss in my toilet. There's not a chance.
She's on a night out covered in chunda, so she'll be fine.
I understood that after, because I was like, oh, if that's your room, huh? And it goes, so what's the story with that balloon, that heart balloon? And she goes, my boyfriend gave it to me.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, your boyfriend? She
Is
goes,
your boyfriend one of these dudes?
Is he here? It's like, how did you meet him? On a group night out? So then she goes, you have a boyfriend? And I swear to God, I've never felt so bad in my life. Yeah. Because I'm like, I was really tempted to find out who this guy was.
And just head him up.
Tell him. To be like, one thing is to be cheated on.
Yeah.
Like one of them stories about leaving the note on the underside of the toilet seat. Because he's the one she's gonna use that toilet every day, but he'll use it and take the toilet seat up and read the note from you.
Well, this is a question for you. Do you think you have the question to both of you? Do you think you've got a moral obligation if you find out you fucked someone who's got a partner? Do you have an obligation to tell the other person?
No, especially when it's 3 people. You know, it's like it's too far down the moral.
Unless all 3 of you find out where he lives, you knock on his door. Sit down with him, tell him, apologise, have a beer, you leave it 5 minutes, and then the second guy knocks on the door, tells him, comes in for a beer. He's like, guys, a rough day. 5 minutes later, knock.
I'd let someone raise my child before I got involved in that.
Have you ever heard that knock joke? It's 3 guys show up, I fucked your girlfriend. Because you can't show up all 3 of you at the one point, because otherwise it just looks like an intervention.
I sit him down.
I was like, listen, we think you have a problem. And he goes, what is it? Your girlfriend, man. Like, I don't know how to tell you this. Because, like, there was just something that's like, someone cheats on somebody, yeah, great. But if she does this on a Tuesday, I'm like, you got cheated on, like, caps lock. You know? And then after we found out she had a boyfriend, the ride home on the taxi, it wasn't like a fun, it was somber. What a fucking rowdy boys night we had. It was just weird and sad, right? And my flatmate was this like Dutch kind of autistic guy, like who kind of just happened to be in this extent. We're all in silence and he just goes, women, huh? You never know. And they're like,
you're telling your fucking threesome story.
Which one? The high five slap. We've told this on the podcast again, I'm sure.
It's the best. This is why I've only ever had the correct threesomes. I've only ever done it with 2.
Really? You've only done God's threesomes?
Yeah.
I've only done the devil's.
Yeah. Same here. I'm Catholic, so my grandma would always say to me like, "The devil's hard at work." She's like, "I know. I'm out there every night doing it."
He's on my shoulder.
I'm hustling.
Because you know when you were like, "I'm about to come," right? I've always been like quite conscientious of that. There's one time where I was going to come and I was like, well, it ends for me, mate, if I end anyway.
Yeah.
Boobs,
boy. Preach to the choir.
It's gone, man. So I like my friend who was staying at my house at the time was asleep in the other room and he had work in the morning and I bust in at like fucking 4:30, cooked off my nut with a hard on, just fucking hammered on the door. I was just like, "You got any condoms?" And he just looked up at me dick and went, "Get that out my fucking face now." And I ended up going down to the car in the fucking car park of the flats with nothing on, rummaging through the glove box to get a condom. But on this occasion, right, it was in Zante. I'm already in bed, right? And my mate knocks on my door and goes, "I've got a last back of mine." I was like, "Good on you, dude." Like, sweet. He's like, "Do you want to come?" She said, "You can come." I was like, "All right, I'll come." And I fucking wrap me, like, you know. When
But
you
wait,
just
she said, had she met you before? No.
No, she'd been on the resort. We'd seen her kicking around, and we'd hung out with her on the nights out and stuff. Like, so she was like giggling, going, "I normally don't do stuff like this." It's like, "You cliche."
I know.
You cliche, you.
They always say that. I don't know how to do stuff like this. And I'm like, dude, for me to be here, you've done stuff like this before.
So it started off where it was like they invited us to watch, and I was like sat watching at the fucking foot of the bed, and then it ended up where we were jacking off to see who could come the first on our boobs, right? And I'd just been woke up, I'm fucked, I'm spun, I'm not really getting anywhere. And I wasn't getting anywhere in a hurry, and he finished and he won, right? And then he held up a high five because he won, and I high fived him, and motherfucker had scooped the spunk off her tits and hung the high five, and I just plastered the room with a high five. It was all over her, all over me, all over the walls. It was fucking everywhere, right? And I fucking stormed out in a huff. Like, not even, I didn't see the humour in it. I can laugh about it with you guys now. It's very, very funny. It's been 15 years. I fucking had a sit-down shower.
Oh my God.
I had a sit-down shower, right? And I lay back down on me. This was the most tragic bit. I lay back down on my bed, and I'd left me blanket in the other room. I just fetaled up.
How long did it take you to forgive Ricketts?
It was the well, I didn't say his name.
Elliot Steele.
Nah, leave Ricketts in. That's fine. He's fine with that. So it was when I got up and walked along the poolside, and everybody on the resort knew about it and done away. Hey, she's there. Hey, daft cunt. I think you were covered in it as well. No, it's not me.
I had a friend of mine who got like he became single, and then he really got on like the orgy circuit. But you know these aren't like spontaneous orgies. You know, like you go like on Gumtree and stuff like that. There's like those sections where it's like other stuff, and he goes couple looking for somebody to just watch or whatever. So on a Tuesday, right? He goes, "Oh, I'm just gonna." I called him and I was like, "Hey, what are you up to do?" "I want to go watch this couple fuck in a couple of hours." And he goes, "How'd that come about?" And he goes, "Well, I saw this ad, and I was like, well, I've got nothing to do." And then I texted them. They said, I was like, "I'm just going on my way to the supermarket because it's rude to show up empty-handed, right?" So I'm like, "What do you bring to an orgy?"
It's just a side of salmon.
Yeah. And then he goes, and then I get there, and I'm not the only guy watching. So there's just me and 3 dudes in chairs.
And you're like, "Sorry, so you're in D4, I'm in D4.
Yeah, let me take it.
So they open the door, and the couple's like, "All right, great to have you guys here. Grab a seat. There's a little sort of charcuterie and cheeses board over there if you want it." And then they go, "All right, we're gonna go start fucking now." They start fucking, and then there's 3 dudes, right? Imagine like us, like sitting on a bench like this, right? And then my friend was sitting in the middle, and he's watching, and the other guys decide to start jerking off. But he's like, "This isn't doing anything for me." So he's just there watching this couple while 2 guys next to him jerk off. And he goes, "Maybe I should have brought something different to the party."
Should have brought me a book.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
He goes, "That was a low moment for me." And like when I got in my car after, I was like, "That's 3 hours of my life I'm never getting back."
3 hours? Holy fuck, don't tell Natalie. Don't tell Natalie with this guy.
They do like a podcast, they take a pause.
I'd be getting people to watch if I was going for 3 hours. It's like, yeah, fucking, you've got to see this. It's a fucking marathon.
Like ticketed event.
Yeah, just 3 fucking hours. Even the woman at that point, surely, like, come on, lads, this is.
Dude, no, but they do a break,
so-
like the podcast. Imagine like they do it like 1 hour, and then it goes, all right, this was the public, now it's for Patreon only. Okay?
Wait till you see what she does on Patreon.
Well, it's like OnlyFans. Have you seen like OnlyFans now? They do not just porn; they've got like into comedy stuff.
Oh,
They
got in touch with me during lockdown asking if I'd do content for them for like stand-up sketches and stuff. I was like, nah, I'm alright. I just put them on my old socials. Like,
yeah, that's so weird. Like, because
They-
now
they
they
wanted
have
to
all of
rebrand.
these. They want to rebrand big time. I think so. They're like moving into all of these like roasts, and they've like started producing comedy specials. So it's like it's really weird where you have like a website that's just like either amateur porn, or then like the roast of Bert Kreischer.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's such a weird thing to like. You look at the page and be like, "Would you like to subscribe to this?" And then be like, and then like the machine. You know, I don't know. Like they're really good at sort of like that. They did that competition. You know, where you win $100 grand if you're like for comedians or something like that.
right.
Oh,
Now-
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
now they're
they'll-
producing like, okay, so let me ask you, if they offered you a shit ton of money, would you put your special out on OnlyFans? Like, what would be the amount of money?
For me?
Well,
It would be less for me than it would be for you. That's for sure. But there'd be a price.
there'd be
I wouldn't want to tell them.
But what would it take for you to be like, we want your
One special?
we're rebranding
One
and-
special?
Yeah, we're
For me, 1.5.
Million.
1.5. And if it was like, okay, yeah,
Because you're bringing in new audiences to
Yeah.
To OnlyFans?
then, so
Yeah.
they're-
but your audience, what is your audience mostly men?
No, not at all. My audience is 60% women, 20% their boyfriends and partners who they dragged along, and then the remaining men are ex-boyfriends of other women who've brought me previously. They broke up, but they still like my stand-up.
Really?
Yeah.
And what's your demographic?
I'd say I'm fucking quite eclectic, man. Anywhere between fucking 18 and 65. Like, I am always shocked when I see, and it happens regularly, pensioners, like fucking 75-year-olds, 8-year-olds. and I'm like,
intelligent people, like mostly in Europe, especially because
Yeah.
they've learned English to a second language so much they can listen to the nuances of comedy. So you do get quite an intelligent audience.
Aye, but no, I'm like in America, like I think like your fucking Joe Rogans and your Bill Burrs, like I would say their audience is probably 65% men.
Yeah, on so you get like quite a big range of like of age at least,
And,
right?
and
Yeah.
polite people, the audience,
Yeah,
the venues always mention how nice the audience was. So they don't leave a lot of litter. They don't
Yeah.
they don't make
Lots of people who can't make eye contact.
yeah. People who tremble when you meet them.
Yeah,
I think it's. Do you find audiences in Europe like nicer?
yes, because they are so fucking like grateful that you're over. Like,
Yeah.
it's still like exciting for any artist to like be over there. They're like, hey, oh my god, you fucking came to Vilnius, or you came to fucking Riga, and
Thank you for acknowledging our existence.
Yeah. So it's a lot. Whereas in London, you often, I mean, not so much anymore, but when we used to play the fucking Soho Theatre, you always got the fucking vibe of people just being like, there were 12 other shows we could have seen today, but we decided to come and see yours.
Yes,
Yeah, do you
So
feel
why
that
don't
Melbourne?
you prove to us
Melbourne's
that
got
was the
that.
right thing to do, as opposed to my audience who are like, I plucked up the courage to come out today, and I'm going to be socially exhausted for 2 weeks afterwards.
Yeah. I dyed my hair green, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's true in the sense of like, and I've noticed this as well with like industry people in the UK, like agencies. They're like, we're exclusive, so you should be very lucky we've chosen to work with you. Whereas Americans are like, you're a star, kiddo. What can I do for you? Can I get you a drink or whatever? So like the whole mindset is like so different. It's like here you're sort of like you kind of made to feel like you work for them. Like they're giving you like not the other way around. Whereas like
I often get confused about who works for who in me and Marlena's relationship. There's sometimes when I'm like, hold on a fucking second. Am I not in charge?
I did remember. I was like, I said this is going to be a no for me. Somehow, I ended up doing it.
Yeah, you're paying someone to bully you because
it's
you haven't
like-
got your own
But
motivation.
it's
you're
like
paying someone to push you.
It's a personal trainer. Essentially, if you've got a good manager, it's someone that you're like, I am paying you to make me do work, but
What makes a good manager in your guys' opinion? Like what are the
I think someone you can
qualities that
trust. One thing I love about our manager is I trust her.
Aye.
I really trust
Never
her.
signed a contract with her.
I trust her with
At any
money. I
point.
trust her to put us first. I trust her to like really care.
Aye.
And like so that in that I really feel like there's a couple of other agents I know like Brett Vincent and stuff that'd be like that. But like I feel like that's a real rare quality in an agent. And it's definitely like something that
If you've got an agent who you know is just going to be with you for your
Fair
entire
weather.
career,
Yeah.
and all the way through, then you know that they've got a plan for you. Marlena had a fucking goal for me with the second she signed me.
really?
Oh, 100%. She knew she knows, you know, the thing that she really likes is she likes finding acts and she knows how to package them and she can see the trajectory and what's the best sort of way. And if that doesn't work out, she's got 1,000 fucking contingencies. Because if she were to stop working for 2 seconds, she might think for a bit. She loves work. It's her fucking baby.
it's a distraction
Aye.
from her thoughts.
She's one of those people, she loves work so much, but she'll tell you how much time she wants off. She doesn't want any fucking time off. She loves this too much. She's like Alex Ferguson, man. She'll die on the pitch.
You do know he's still alive though, right?
Yeah, aye. But we all thought he would. He's dead to me the second left.
No, I feel like there'll be a lot of agents at a fair weather where you'll sign for them and you'll be in the bold capitals on their fucking website, and then all of a sudden you'll shrink down to the small letters on their website, and like they've got somebody else who fits your USP now or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a lot of agencies are just like whoever's hot right now, that's who we're getting behind. And,
Yeah.
but like you just know however it goes for you, she's always going to be there, and that's unique. I think.
And
Yeah.
you also need somebody that can be a fucking cunt.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I hate being an arsehole, and I know it comes naturally, but I don't like doing it. And having an agent who's just like
A pit bull.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
man, people always say Marlena's a Rottweiler, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm the one holding the fucking leash, so it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, exactly. You want that.
So sometimes like we'll find out we've been massive divas. We'll get to a place and find out that we've been like real diva-ish about stuff, and go, oh no, that wasn't us.
Yeah, weird. Huh?
I mean, we really appreciate that we've got all of this stuff backstage.
Yeah.
Fucking class. But no, we would have been happy with the sandwich.
What's the best? Like, where's the best treatment you've had? Where's it been like? Wow. Really cool.
Well, a lot of the European ones we always get looked after.
I'd need to think about that. I feel like if I pointed out something, I'd feel in an hour's time, I'd feel like I overlooked something else. Tom Bertels at Belgium always.
Barang. Well, fucking
Yeah.
the fucking what's the name of your fucking
Enrique,
yeah. What's the company called?
a comic soul.
Comic
Comic
Soul.
Soul.
Comic Soul.
So Tom Bertels and Barang, they're all the same umbrella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're good. They always look after us. Australia's always fucking good to me, man. Century Entertainment are really fucking good at what they do, and so were the Tobins when we went over with them.
Yeah, the Tobins are really good. They like really planned like wine tours and stuff like that. Like,
Oh yeah, that's a big thing in Australia. Everyone's
Yeah.
like, "You want to go on a wine tour?"
Oh
Like,
man,
especially when I was in Adelaide.
well, surely that must just be like that's what you do anyway in Portugal. You
Yeah,
get,
so I was
you
a
get-
bit like cynical going on the wine tours because I'm like,
You've got that at
"Oh,
home.
you got Adelaide wine, great." You know, we got like Portuguese wine, like it's known. I don't know.
It
I was-
fucks
I-
your mouth as it goes down, and it's smooth as silk. You know, that's what we create here in Portugal.
Yeah, I'm not a wine guy, but I was snobby about it. You know, and I didn't like. I was like,
Scottish people get that way about tap water.
yeah. You guys have.
We've got like the second or third cleanest tap water.
Yeah.
And we do not stop going on about it. Nothing better than crossing the border and dirty.
I loved giving him a glass of tap water in
Yeah.
London when I lived in London and he was visiting. I'm like, there you go, enjoy that.
not a fucking
It's got
chance.
skin on it. He's peeling the skin off the top of the water.
Oh,
You like tap water now, do you?
Oh, I
He's changed his tune, isn't he?
I forgot it. I forgot it was a Scottish thing. It's like when you find out like a footballer's got Scottish heritage, and you're like, he's ours. It's grand on that
Oh,
side.
do you have that as well? Like, do you have? I call this like small country complex, where like we have it so much. Portugal.
You stake a
has it.
claim on people that aren't Portuguese because their grandparents or something.
No, like they're like every time like any Portuguese does anything abroad, like the embassy supports my show because they're like, you're the only one doing it. So they like people really rally behind you.
Great.
Because they're like, we're a small country, so seeing one of us succeed in whatever, you know. So they'll even support like women's sport, like we got a women champ,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
They're like,
Scotland's the same.
They'll even support women.
yeah.
That's how far Portugal's come. They will even. Mark Nelson doesn't have a team in the Premier League. He doesn't support a specific team, but he supports the Scottish players in the Premier League. Like he's always watching out for John McGinn and Scott McTominay.
We're going to have to wrap this up.
Yep.
Sorry, I've got half an hour to get into town.
Right, let's do it. Thanks for joining,
Yeah,
André.
where can people catch you?
This goes out after the Fringe, so other than the Fringe Festival.
Oh yeah, I know. It's funny because I was talking to Ari Mati, and who's a friend of yours, friend of the podcast. And he goes, "Oh, you go on the podcast, really good. Whenever you do, you'll sell tickets." And I'm like, "Great." The Fringe finishes tomorrow, and this podcast will come out in I don't know how many weeks. But the tickets I'm gonna move.
But they are everywhere. So if you've got stuff coming up in any country,
I do. Actually, I'm going to Spain with.
we love Spain. We love Spain.
With Amos, Gil, and George Zach, the kings of Europe. We're going to Ibiza, Sevilla, and Barcelona. And you could follow me on the socials at André Comedy. And thanks so much for having me, boys.
Great,
Just being on.
Yeah, cheers,
catch André and be back. It's finished.